connected parenting is getting progressively more sophisticated every day, combining cutting-edge innovation with our endless connection to our mobile phones to create the ultimate smart nurseries and smart parents. Join me in welcoming our next panel, led by Editor-in-Chief of Universal Online Baby Registry BabyList, Rebecca Otto. True to the company's mission to make the journey of parenthood easier and less overwhelming, Rebecca leads the team in curating relevant and meaningful content that puts parents ahead of the curve.
Good afternoon, CES. Can everyone hear me okay? Great. So I'm so excited to join the four of you today. I'm joined with Asif Glazer, the CEO and founder of Nanit, which is a smart baby monitor that uses machine learning to give parents sleep insights, and now has a breathing product that we might get to take a closer look at towards the end of the panel, as well as Amy Beckley, who's the founder and CEO of the Prove test, a rapid response at-home progesterone test. And anyone who's struggled with fertility will be very excited and already thrilled that we're talking about progesterone at all on a stage. I'm also joined by Jackie Alby, who's the Vice President of Sickness Personalization and Customer Strategy team, and Steve Kane, the Head of Product at Origin, a biotechnology company focused on direct-to-consumer DNA testing and regenerative medicine. So I was reflecting on this panel, and one thing that we have a unique view at BabyList is commerce, content, and data. So we see when parents add things to their registries, when they delete things from their registries, and when they're finally purchased in a retailer agnostic way, because people can buy things from us as well as from Amazon or Target or anywhere their gift givers so desire. And it's really important that we distill information and make it less overwhelming for parents and can really reflect values that we see from the data at large. So we are trying to meet this new market need that people want more information about themselves, not just because the more you know, but because they want to make decisions about their lives. They want to use that information to make more informed decisions, particularly about their health and their children's health. So I'd love for each of you to give me an example about how users have used their product in a way that impacts their lives and changes their lives.
Shall I start?
Sure.
Okay. Maybe like 1 minute about Nanit,
Yeah.
then I'll have context. So parents are sleep deprived. They lost on average around 44 days of sleep in the first year of parenting. And we at Nanit try to empower parents and give them the awareness and the education to help them to become super parent. You might, this is my experience, like during the night, you will do every mistakes possible to go back to sleep. Sometimes this is the right decision, but then you wake up in the morning with kind of a hangover and asking yourself, what shall I do? And you go online and you ask friends and Googles and the thing that you collect about your baby, and you increase your level of anxiety instead of finding answers. The problem that we have too much information. This is where Nanit come into play and trying to give you this ultimate parent helper in your palm to help you make informed decisions. And when we look at technology today, technology should serve as an extension of your human body. In the same way that you sit in your car and you open Waze and Google Map and drive to your destination, this is what we are trying to do with giving you this level of information every day, every week, that you can compare and also provide you with guidance with personalized sleep there is some sort of spotty connection, but give you these tips and recommendations that are very personal to your sleep data. So there are lots of examples that you can think of how you use this technology, whether to manage nap time, to check from remote, to monitor the progress. You sometimes don't remember what happened during the night. We have also something very simple that is just, what was the last thing that we recorded? When I picked my baby out of the crib, so you manage nap time and you want to put your baby back because he's too fuzzy. We released recently a new feature called the movement map. It's like a heat map that you can see where the baby is in the crib. And sometimes you don't think about all the scenarios of how people think about it. And someone wrote, it's really helped me decide when to put the pacifiers next to my kid. The life is full of details, and we will try to provide you in a very specific, personal way in this ocean of data around you.
Amy?
Yeah. So we are actually trying to help women become parents. So I started the company and developed a product called Prove, which is a rapid response progesterone test. So I struggled with infertility. I couldn't have a child on my own, and it was because of a hormone imbalance. So anybody who doesn't know what progesterone is, that is the pregnancy hormone. This is the hormone that will get you and keep you pregnant your entire pregnancy. And this access to progesterone monitoring has always been through your doctor. If your doctor felt like you needed a progesterone test, they would let you have it. And I was just discussing earlier that typically women can't have access to this technology until they've been trying to conceive for 12 months or have had 3 miscarriages in a row. So what we're doing is we're empowering women to give them this knowledge at home. We are a urine-based system, just like a pregnancy test. You buy it off of Amazon. You collect your first morning urine, dip it in a cup, lay it flat 5 minutes, and you read your results. You either have enough progesterone that confirms you are ovulating, and you have the minimal amount of progesterone to sustain a pregnancy. So the examples of our product and work are very typically women that have had a miscarriage in the past. They don't know why they've had a miscarriage. They've only had 1 or maybe only had 2. They can't seek medical help. And so they're looking for answers. They're looking for more information. Why is this happening? Is this going to happen again? And so that's when we come in. We have Sarah's story and Dana's story where they've had pregnancy loss. And they came to us, and we were there for them. We helped them confirm ovulation, and then we helped them track progesterone in early pregnancy so that they felt like they were doing everything possible to maintain that pregnancy. Because a lot of things during pregnancy we can't control. If it's a genetic thing, we can't control that. Sperm and egg didn't meet properly, that's not something we can control. But the hormones we can control, and so we're giving women access to that so they can be more informed parents.
That's great. Cigna is a global health services company. So for those of you who don't know what we do, we're really dedicated to improving the health, well-being, and sense of security of our customers. And part of that is when you have an individual that's ready to start a family. And so for moms, we've developed a healthy pregnancy, healthy babies program. And one of the things that we realized was that our program was very focused on connecting moms to our clinicians, and we needed a digital solution. And so one of the reasons why we're so excited to be here today is because we're always looking for partners that can truly advance our solutions. Together we can create something even better. So we partnered with Wildflower, and we enhanced our healthy pregnancy, healthy babies program. And the way it works for an individual is we work first with the employers to create incentives and to create a communication strategy to make sure that moms-to-be are aware that the program even exists. And then once someone gets pregnant, which usually what happens is they take a home pregnancy test, they find out they're pregnant, then they would download the app and take a quick health assessment and schedule their first meeting with one of our nurses to be able to get the information that they need at that point in time. So I think the key element to your question about the overload of information is first making sure that individuals know what products and services are available to them, and then giving them personalized, relevant, and timely information when they need it, because it becomes so overwhelming. So we try through the app and through the nurses to make sure they have the right kind of information at the point in time that they really need it.
Thank you. So a little bit of context, if I can. So Origin is a direct-to-consumer company that sells DNA tests guided around what we call lifestyle genetics. So we are not a company that offers ancestry-type testing or disease-related testing, but rather we provide people with information based on their inherited gene variants, that relate to things like fitness and nutrition and metabolism, something that can be actionable for people and for their children. So the variants that we look at, the technical term is called SNPs, and they're something that make all of us individuals. So for example, if you have blue eyes or brown eyes, that's based on a specific SNP in one gene. If you tend to have a tendency for early baldness, that's another SNP, and guess where my result was. But we have several kits that are kind of framed around these different lifestyle categories, so fitness, nutrition, metabolism. We also have a child development test. So one area, kind of playing off of what was talked about, the sleep-related products as well, one of the tests that we have for child development looks at a number of different gene variants in children or adults that relate to various mind and body elements of that person. One of them, it turns out, is sleep duration. So there's a specific gene that relates to how a person responds to circadian rhythms. And it turns out, one example of a family where they had a child who tended not to sleep long periods of time continuously, that was normal for them based on their genetics. And so the products that we offer allow people to really understand their genetic foundation, if you will, so that they can make the appropriate choices for themselves or for their children, either through nutrition or fitness-related changes in their life. And we do have, fairly sophisticated technology under the hood, if you will, but the way we deliver the results is very much in a consumer-friendly fashion through a mobile application, also through a website. So it's in language that's very accessible to people that don't have a technical background.
That's great. A question that came up earlier that I would love everyone to weigh in on, because with kids, privacy becomes really important. So when you have something in their home, or when you're dealing with people's genetic information, how do you, I don't want to say conceal that, but how are you transparent about your security practices, and how do you make sure that you're protecting the privacy of your consumers?
Great and important question. In the same way that you have a bank account and you do not worry every day that someone will steal your money.
Unless you do worry every day.
Unless you do worry. There are ways to build technology that are safe enough. We thought about encryption and safety at Nanit from day one, and this is how we build our system, whether to meet GDPR and HIPAA. We look into consumer-facing health today. We are the only baby monitor in the market that have two-factor authentication. So we take security and privacy very strongly, and I think that it is achievable.
So our product does not have a digital component. We do not require a lab. We do not require consumers to answer any types of questions. So in that aspect, 100% privacy. Whatever happens in your bathroom unless you choose to share. I actually was my own guinea pig and tried an at-home progesterone blood draw where I pricked my finger, and then I sent it to the lab. And in order to get my results, they asked me how old I was, my weight, how long I've been trying to conceive, how many miscarriages, all these things. And I'm like, this is so invasive. Literally, you buy our product. It's through Amazon, so I can't contact you anyways because of Amazon. And if you choose to contact us, great. And if not, you take the test in your bathroom, you get the results, you get the information you need, and you go about your journey.
Yeah, I think that we're all subject in this industry to HIPAA, which is arguably probably the stiffest restrictions out there in terms of privacy. But even if those didn't exist, just from a trust perspective, making sure that our customers know that their information is safe with us is top of mind for us all the time. Some of the things that we've done is we have two-way authentication too digitally. It's very important. But we also make sure that moms know that we never share this information with their employers. That's often a concern of theirs. It's their information to tell when they want to tell. So while we do share global information with employers about the health of their population, we don't share any individual specific information, and we don't share any information for purposes of marketing or any other reason with third parties.
Yeah, I'm very glad this question came up because data privacy is really one of the core foundations of Origin's business. We don't share or sell data product in any form or fashion. We never will. Our business model really relies on providing the DNA testing service to customers. We've built in encryption methods, so what you receive on your mobile application has been encrypted by delivery, and it's really a summary of your results. It doesn't have anything specific based on any annotation about your date of birth or your gender or where you're from. So it's really only linked to an email address that you would provide when you download the app. So it is something that we take very seriously, and again, it's a core part of our business to maintain strong data privacy protocols.
That's great. So because I have 3 PhDs on the panel, I want to ask, like, what are some of the technologies and scientific advancements that are currently in their infancy, which I always love being able to make that pun, that you think are going to be in nurseries in 5, 10, or 15 years?
Yeah, I think that looking 5 years forward is somehow possible. 10, 15 is... But I think that all this world of consumer-facing health, like the fact that you are going to a doctor today when you have a pain, should change. Like, there's a lot of behaviors around that can help for early detection and trigger you ahead of time. If you won't do this test or that test, then have this mindset as consumers that this is how we maintain health. I think it is something that in the next 5 years, full-blown. 10, 15 years, I read a paper like a couple of months ago about a paper that was published at ICML at MIT in 2017 about how to use Wi-Fi and RF that is all around us to detect, to do tracking, vital signs also remotely. I think it is a very exciting field that we'll see a progress probably in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one of the most exciting things is when the Internet of Things and really the smart home and the remote devices meet what today is just like telehealth. So we're starting to see finally some increases in consumer acceptance and provider acceptance of being able to create visits telephonically. You need to have all of those other things in place to be able to take that to the next level. And so I could see, like, in the future, a lot of the pregnancy monitoring being done from your home. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, I'll add to that. So all this telemedicine, what they're lacking are the diagnostic components. A lot of things you have to go into a lab, get a blood draw, miss work, all those. So seeing it advance that you can do this at home, you can do this on your own, you can feed that information to your physician so that you don't have to come into the clinic, that it's more accessible, and that's where I see it going, absolutely.
So I would say we're really living right now in the golden age of genomics and genetic data. The cost associated with doing the type of research projects that lead to discoveries that can then be implemented in more of a consumer-facing product, it's really it's booming right now. And it's largely because technology's allowed the analysis of the human genome in particular to be democratized across far more researchers in individual laboratories that can do that sort of work. So these I would say, but in the near term, the gene variants that I mentioned, we have about 10 million in our genome. Every person has 10 million that's very unique to them. That discovery work is continuing. So we'll be able to get more and more understanding of gene variants that affect different aspects of our mind and body. Origins certainly is planning to continue to evolve our product to incorporate the latest information so people have the ability to take advantage of the most recent discoveries.
That's great. So because I'm selfish and I have a 6-month-old at home, I'd also love to ask Asaf to show us his new breathing monitor that came out this morning. So the Nanit, if you can probably see it somewhere back there on the floor, the original monitor, sits above your crib and shows you how your baby slept at night. And this is their new breathing component, because one of the biggest fears that parents have is, are their kids breathing at night? And that if you aren't a parent, this sounds crazy, and if you are a parent, you understand this deeply. So I'd love to take a look at the breathing band. Do you want to show it?
Yes, surprise. Yes, I said that parents are sleep deprived, right? You got it. They sleep deprived because their baby doesn't sleep, and they sleep deprived because they don't sleep. They worry. They worry because they want to see the breathing motion of their child. So they open the monitor a couple of times during the night, and we try to make them super parents, but letting them monitor their breathing motion also when they are asleep. So this is the nanny swallow. We use computer vision algorithm to track the motion of the shapes that are around the chest of the baby. We do the computation on the camera itself. The camera can alert if we see that stop in motion for more than 20 seconds. And the idea is to provide parents this peace of mind to letting them know that if something needs their attention, Nanit will alert them and provide them this information.
Did you see that in your user data, that even when the baby was like sleeping peacefully, the parents were on the app looking anyways? Or was it an anecdotal?
Yes, I tell you what, it was a very challenging product for me to develop because we wanted to create a product that go into the journey of your life, giving you this information and not around this fear. But then we found out that parents really need it. It's a very natural need to know, to see the breathing motion of your baby. And we came with this solution that is very natural. Like parents are using swaddling blanket, most of them. By the way, we also have a band if you do not want to use a swaddling blanket. It is made of 100% cotton. We thought about all the room for the hips, and you can change diapers if you open from downstairs, and the tricot and the materials that we are using. We didn't save on this part to make the best swaddling blanket that we can. The feedback that we got so far from parents is pretty amazing, but what I love about it, that they don't need to do nothing to make it work. Like the camera itself, it's as I started by saying, technology should be a natural extension of the human body, and this is what we thought when we developed this swaddling blanket. Available on March on our website. So
I thought that, Pat, was brilliant. I mean, what mom hasn't gone in and just had to touch the baby to say, are they really breathing? Like, we've all had that instinct. That's amazing. That's great.
thank you.
Does it only come in one size?
No, we have two sizes of the swaddling blanket,
Okay.
the two sizes for the band, and our idea is to go with pajamas and onesies and sleeping sack.
Great.
But this is where we start. It will have a collection that is very natural for us to use as parents.
That's great. So I'd love to open this panel up to the audience. Does anyone have any questions for the team next to me?
I work in CPG in baby and healthcare for Kimberly Clark, and personally and professionally, a large thing with new parents is in the middle of the night, I want to know if my baby's breathing, but I also want to know if they've had a bowel movement, because sometimes getting into that swaddle sack disrupts their sleep, but I don't want them sitting in their bowel movement. So how do you see the future of monitoring those types of things?
You say that if you need to change a diaper or something, right? It's all about collecting data and do the connections and modeling. And if we will have this data and would be able to do predictions, then we would be able to differentiate between. But currently, we do not have the information whether there is need to change diapers. There is technology that you can put kind of a wearable on your diaper. I need to believe that it's something that's worth the investment of a parent, and customers will tell us whether it's worth it. And if it is the case, we will integrate it to the product. I found out that there are many products on the market that what they do is increase your level of anxiety and make you work harder. And they're also not medical grade devices. And I don't want us to go into this path. I want us to use technology in a way that will make us super parent, as I mentioned.
This isn't, and I don't expect any of the panelists to know about this, but for the Baby Tech Awards, there was one nominee that's run by Huggies that's already been approved in South Korea that does a similar kind of monitoring that is moving into the U.S. in 2019. But like Asif said, it is a wearable. It's not using any kind of like sensor in the bottom of the crib or other vital signs that would be able to tell you that remotely.
Yeah, I work on the Huggies business.
I like the diapers that give you a sign when there is something. It's very simple, you know. Currently, I think it's
The wetness monitor.
Yeah. As a parent, if they're asleep, let them sleep, but that's also probably different than an innovator's solution to it. So,
Thank you.
any other questions?
Hi there. I'm a product manager at Comcast. Another question for us. First of all, do you collect the data from all your customers, or do you collect data? And also, how do you test for something like this to be, how do you really put it through testing? What's that process like, if you're comfortable talking about it?
yes, as other mentions, according to HIPAA, we build our technology to support HIPAA at some point. We have a clear separation between personal information and data that we collect anonymously. So we cannot, on the global level, we know many things, but we cannot connect the dot between data and people. And this is the guidelines that we started from day one. We build Nanit from inception with the concept of going into health. Around 30% of our customers signed on an IRB protocol that participate in clinical trials. We conduct studies with around 20 universities that they run IRB through their processes. We are very clear about how to conduct research. I came from the academy, so I have some background about how to do proper and responsible research that align with the Helsinki and so on. So if you ask question about how to do research, everything is known. Go to the academia and see how they do research. This is how to do it in a responsible way, and these are the guidelines that we follow.
Anyone else? Well, thank you all so much for your time today, and thank you all for joining the panel. At 2 o'clock, the awards are going to be announced for Baby Tech, so stick around for that as well.